Over the last few years, I've seen that investing in single-family homes has become really popular. Why do you think that is?
I think that's an interesting question, and I think the answer is really more obvious than at first blush. I think what it comes down to is if you look at people today that are in the working world, they really fall into two categories. Those people that actually try to do it right, work hard for their money, and actually try to save a little bit, versus those people that spend 105% of what they make. So let's say you're in let's say that you are a potential investor that actually saves money. I think the real frustration is, what do you do with the money that you saved? If you go back and look at the stock market, the Dow Jones, say for example, over the last 12 years, it's basically gone up a bunch, down a bunch, and we're more or less where we were 12 years ago. If you say, well, that time frame is too long for me. Well, over the last 7 years, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up about 30%. That's a nice return, except when you spread it out over 7 years, it works out to be about 4% a year. So the stock market really has been a nauseating ride with not an awful lot of return for the average investor. The CD market or the bond market has really been worse. You can put your money in the bank. You certainly don't have the volatility that the stock market has offered, but the bank pays you 0.5%. So I think what has really happened is the average person that is trying to save money is very tired of working hard for their money, to only find their money not work hard for them or to get lost. So I think what we're seeing is the beginnings of what's going to be a new investment frontier, which is a large class of people's portfolio is going to be alternative investments. I think that's a class that they probably haven't considered before. So in alternative investments, you're seeing things like commodity accounts, people buying gold, people buying in private companies, those types of things. But the core of a lot of wealth in the United States is real estate. The basic vanilla ice cream of real estate is a single family home. That's something that everybody understands. So I think what's happening is you start looking at the returns that you're expecting to get on a single family home. And there's not a lot of moving parts to a single family home. It's rented or it's vacant. It needs a repair, it doesn't. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. I think it becomes a very easy to understand, very satisfying investment. I think in the end of the day, right, most people want their money to grow, and the reason they want their money to grow is someday they want that money to be able to generate enough cash flow for them to take care of themselves when they don't want to work as hard, right? What does that better than real estate? So I buy property today, I finance it. In a reasonable period of time, I'm going to have that block of property paid off. It's going to be owned. Nobody can take it away from me, yet it's still going to be rented and bring in cash flow. On top of that, I've got the potential that the prices of the property may go up in value and that rents may go up. So I've got some ways to win, but if none of those things happen, I'm still going to get cash flow. So I will feel like my money will help me build up assets in the short run and give me the cash flow I need when I need it. And I think for that reason, as an alternative investment, people are really migrating to the single family space.